You're green.
I am.
After watching the film adaptation of Wicked, I can't stop thinking about it. It was impossible to look away from the screen between the toe-tapping musical numbers and emotional moments between Elphaba, Glinda, and Fiyero. Elphaba's story in particular is heart-wrenching as she's turned into a villain for the benefit of others. As viewers, the audience witnesses how hard Elphaba tries to be good only to be prosecuted for it. As of the first part of the film, it's obvious that Elphaba has never tried to be wicked in her life and wants nothing more than to be accepted, loved, and appreciated for her gifts. Her story is entirely tragic, and while the people of Oz may not realize it, I want to discuss the many ways Elphaba is undeniably good in today's video.
You can room with Miss Glinda.
Oh, popular. I know about popular. Oh, I saved you some space, by the way.
Number 1. She cares for Nessa. We're cued into Elphaba's good heart early on as we witness how she has cared for her sister Nessa Rose from a very young age. Despite believing she's responsible for Nessa's disability and braving her father's callousness because of it, Elphaba never stopped loving her sister. When faced with bullying from local children, she only lashes out at them when Nessa grows upset. She wants nothing more than to comfort her little sister, and this level of care carries into their older years as she accompanies Nessa to Shiz. Unlike their father, Elphaba recognizes that Nessa isn't fragile and doesn't need to be coddled. When Nessa goes ignored by the staff at Shiz, Elphaba's magic manifests to protect her sister. She respects Nessa, and despite fulfilling her promise to watch over her, she also gives her room to grow on her own. Most notably, she doesn't interfere with Nessa and Bok's relationship despite being weary of the news at first.
Stop! Let her go!
Number 2. She befriends the animals. By the time Elphaba arrives at Shiz, the animals in Oz have experienced changes. Over the passing months, animals have gone missing throughout Oz, while others have lost their ability to talk. Due to this, there are few animal professors remaining at Shiz, but Elphaba manages to befriend Dr. Dillamond. She is more sympathetic toward the animals than other characters, in part because she is also persecuted for her differences, but also because she was raised by animals who loved her more than her parents did. When Dr. Dillamond has a meeting with his fellow professors, Elphaba eavesdrops on their conversation before being brought inside, where she encourages Dillamond to seek out the wizard. Throughout the film, she expresses her discontent about the animal's situation. When Dr. Dillamond is apprehended by lawmen, Elphaba is the only person who tries to defend him. She also tries to rally her classmates, but none rise to the occasion. Later, she uses her wish from the wizard in a bid to help the animals. While the audience knows that the wizard can't grant wishes, Elphaba's decision to help them means giving up on her lifelong dream of changing her appearance. While the decision was made in part due to the acceptance she receives from others at this part in the story, it's also an incredibly selfless decision.
So, when and why did this change?
From what I've read, The Great Drought.
Number 3. She repays Glinda. Elphaba is familiar with people judging her due to her appearance. She doesn't expect to make friends at Shiz and doesn't hesitate to forge a rivalry with Glinda. The pair remain at odds for the first half of the film until one act of kindness encourages another. Nessa tells Elphaba that Glinda is the one who set her up with Bok, and witnessing her sister's happiness, Elphaba tries to thank Glinda. She is further inspired by being invited to the Oz Dust Ballroom. To repay Glinda for her generosity, Elphaba threatens to abandon Morable's training and thus Glinda receives a training wand. As Glinda wanted nothing more than to learn magic, Elphaba's gift encouraged her to put their feud to rest for good. Despite knowing it would result in ridicule from her peers, Glinda dances with Elphaba, forging the beginning of their friendship. Elphaba continues to support Glinda after this, offering to help her hone her magic and supporting her relationship with Fiyero despite falling in love with him.
Of course she does. She just pretends not to.
Number 4. She saves the lion cub. After Dr. Dillamond is apprehended by the law, her class receives a new history professor. Rather than exploring the past, he brings a new invention to their attention, genuinely believing it would benefit all of Oz in the future. The invention, a cage, is something developed in all sizes for all types of animals. He demonstrates its usefulness with a frightened lion cub, who he assures will never learn to speak. Faced with another injustice, Elphaba's magic surges, lulling her classmates to sleep with Dr. Dillamond's poppies. Coincidentally, Elphaba and Fiyero are the only two unaffected by the poppies. Together, they decide to save the lion cub, fleeing from Shiz before their classmates awake. They borrow bikes for a mad rush to the nearest woods, where they release the lion cub into the wild. While he may not grow up in Oz's cities like many of his predecessors, Elphaba's actions allowed him to have a second chance at freedom. The same lion cub will later become the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz. From that film, we know that he learns to speak after all, maintaining his autonomy despite the corruption in Oz.
Put him up! Put him up! Which one are you first? I'll fight you both together if you want.
Number 5. She tries to save the flying monkeys. Elphaba had always dreamed of meeting the wizard, so she isn't quick to question his intentions when they finally cross paths. Her innate magical talent leads the wizard and Morrible to believe she's the key to decoding the Grimoire, a book full of ancient magic. The wizard encourages Elphaba to cast an irreversible levitation spell on the monkeys in his army. Elphaba successfully casts the spell, but is horrified when the monkeys begin sprouting painful wings. While the others show little concern, Elphaba tries to reverse the spell and relieve their pain. The event encourages her to scrutinize the wizard, and she turns against him once she realizes that he's responsible for the animal disappearances. In the end, she abandons her childhood dream in favor of defending all of animal kind. Her unwillingness to abandon her morals allows her selflessness to shine in the latter half of the film. This particular storyline will likely continue in the second part of the film, as the Wicked Witch of the West is known for having flying monkeys as henchmen. I suspect she will discover a way to ease their pain in the stolen Grimoire, or will convince them that the wizard was the one truly responsible for their extended suffering. Number 6. She defends Glinda. Despite having a rough start, Elphaba and Glinda become inseparable throughout the film. I was genuinely surprised when Glinda gave her unwavering support to Elphaba when they traveled to the Emerald City. Glinda is someone obsessed with her appearance and how others perceive her. She wants to be well loved, so I expected her to put more effort into impressing the wizard. Instead, she took a step back and allowed Elphaba to have her moment. Their scenes within the city show how far Glinda's character have grown, mostly due to Elphaba's influence. However, Glinda isn't so changed that she's willing to become ostracized by society. She still worries about how her image will change if she opposes the wizard, despite knowing that he's in the wrong. She tries to convince Elphaba to look the other way, but is unsuccessful. In the end, Elphaba doesn't judge Glinda for choosing to stay behind so she can reap the benefits of helping the wizard. She actually tries to defend Glinda in the final moments of the film, as she's horrified when her friend is seized by the guards. She calls out, reminding them that Glinda is innocent and not the one they're after. She then takes to the sky to fully embrace her new identity. By willingly becoming the villain in their twisted narrative, she opens the door for Glinda to become the hero. It's her final act of kindness in the first part of the film and is the origin of the beloved Glinda, the Good Witch of the North.
You! Come with me.
Of course.
Not you. You.
Truly, I believe that Elphaba will become a beloved character for this generation. Her story was impactful when Wicked first debuted on stage, and now that her story is being revisited in a new light, there's no denying that her story is one that anyone can sympathize with. It's heartbreaking to watch her do the right thing again and again, only to be condemned by everyone, including those she loves. I'll be looking forward to Elphaba leaving behind the moniker of the Wicked Witch in Wicked Part 2, and I remain hopeful that she'll have her chance at a happier life. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
Citizens of Oz, she is